Good evening and welcome to Bronx Talk. In New York City, a business improvement district, commonly called a BID, is a geographical area where local stakeholders oversee and fund the street cleaning and maintenance, public safety and hospitality, marketing and events, capital improvements, beautification, advocacy, and business development of each district. BIDs are run by a board of directors of a not-for-profit organization who are elected by members that include property owners, merchants, residents, and even in some cases, representatives of local elected office. Of the 75 BIDs in the city that serve 24,000 storefronts and nearly $200 million in investments, 12 BIDs are located in the Bronx, and we'll just let you know what they are in case you don't. 161st Street, Belmont, Castle Hill, Fordham Road, Jerome Gun Hill, Kingsbridge, Morris Park, Southern Boulevard, 3rd Avenue, Throgs Neck, Westchester Avenue, and White Plains Road. Tonight we'll meet with leaders of two of the Bronx BIDs and talk about their efforts to support Bronx small businesses and our neighborhoods. Please join me in welcoming from the Fordham Road BID is Deputy Director Albert Dalipi. Nice to see you, Albert.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us. From the Southern Boulevard BID, it's Executive Director Jay Medina. Nice to have you, Jay.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just get right into it. Now, Albert, you're at the Fordham Road BID. Let's see, the length of the Fordham Road BID goes from Washington Avenue on the south side and including Fordham University up to the northern part of Southern Boulevard, Dr. Theodore Kazimierov Boulevard, which includes Fordham University on the north side. Established in 2004, so that means you're 20 years old. Congratulations. Covers 35 city blocks, serves 333 businesses, and an assessment of over $1 million. You must be busy all the time. Just talk to me in general about the health of the BID right now, what you're doing good and what you have concerns about. And then we'll break each of them down as we go.
Yeah, I think that for us, we're at a really good place right now. You know, we've had a chance to really connect with different stakeholders in our community, stakeholders that we've never had relationships before, some of them.
Like who, for example?
Like street vendors, for example. You know, we're working closely with that community to figure out ways that we can navigate, you know, the ever-changing landscape.
Let me just interject, because that is almost a new economy in the Bronx. There are many people who are using that to make a living because they don't have other ways of doing it.
That's right.
Okay.
You know, and also, you know, we have a good pulse of the community now, in the sense that, you know, we've conducted surveys, we've gotten grants from the city to really figure out what are the community's needs in this area of Fordham Road, you know, safety and sanitation being at the top of the list, and then for us to be able to kind of think about what programs do we want to make or create to be able to tackle these issues directly. So, you know, I think at this point, you know, we've really hit the nail on the head with different programs, our Patrol Ambassador program, different trainings that we've done, you know, starting a coalition. We've done different things to be able to kind of address these needs and, you know, really have the ear of the community, and not just the business community. I think that that's something that we're evolving to have other stakeholders in mind as we develop and we grow.
Biggest concerns right now? Like in other words, when you wake up in the morning, what's the one thing you say, gosh, we've got to get that looked at or taken care of or get funding or whatever it is?
I think just changing the narrative that Fordham Road isn't safe. I think that's our biggest thing is, you know, we want it to be inviting. You know, public safety is a big thing, retail theft, you know, and, you know, making it more of a destination for art and culture. I think that's something that we want to do, as well as sanitation is always going to be there as well. So just keeping it clean, safe, a perfect place to live, play, and work.
Now, let's see, you recently awarded security improvement grants to more than 10 local businesses to help them address security needs. Just talk about where do those grants come from and how do business owners implement them so that, of course, all of us, including the businesses, stay safe?
Yeah, so Verizon and Fordham University was kind enough to give us the money
there you go.
to create this grant.
And, you know, I want to just say, and this is really for both of you because you both know what it's like to try and get funding, that didn't just happen out of the blue.
No,
right?
no.
You folks, he says they just gave us money. You know, it doesn't drop from the sky. You folks worked at it. That's the kind of things that you do.
That's exactly. We established those relationships. They've seen, they've seen the work that we've done, and they were impressed by it. to the point that they wanted to give us funding to continue the work and to establish new work, to do this. So for us, it was public safety, so we created this grant that we called the Security Improvement Grant, that we wanted to award 10 businesses on Fordham Road $1,500 each to be able to improve do various security
just out of
improvement
curiosity, and we're certainly going to bring our friend Jay in a moment because he has similar issues. We all do with security and safety. How did you choose the businesses?
Well, so the businesses, everybody was welcome to apply, but they had to follow a series of requirements. So, they had to attend one of our de-escalation trainings that we host, actually at CUNY on the concourse, which is, Lehman College, affiliated. So they had to attend one of those trainings, our de-escalation training that we host in partnership with BRAG, which is Bronx Rise Against Gun Violence. They're also a member of the BID. So attending one of those, they had to do a security survey with NYPD. And so once they fulfill both of those requirements, then we had a kind of a selection process for the grant.
To me, the best part of what I hear, aside from, of course, making everybody safer, is the building of community and the educating of people who run businesses. And if they make the commitment, well, then they've earned, to get a grant and make themselves and, of course, the area around them safer. Well, let's say hi to Jay Medina. Nice to have you with us, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's see, Southern Boulevard bid goes from East 163rd Street, where Hunts Point Avenue starts, to East 167th Street. You were established a little bit later than they were, 2007.
Yep.
Covers 10 city blocks, a little bit smaller, serves 182 businesses. And when we use numbers, I say this all the time in the show, use numbers, people say, 182, well, there's always 200, there's 250, there's 333. But that's a lot of individual people and families, et cetera, and an assessment of $200,000. Same question for you. What's going well? What are you proud of that you've done? And then maybe some of the issues that need to be dealt with.
I think a few of the things that we've gotten done that I'm proud of is, as I came in, first year what we did was we installed our Welcome to Southern Boulevard banners on the street posts. I thought that was very important. It was brought to my attention that it was supposed to be done. We got it done very quickly.
Now, is that, again, the kind of expense you can fund? Do you have to, because a lot of these street banners get sponsorships. So, you got sponsorship.
Every one of the banners is sponsored. A couple of months after that, we reinstalled the Christmas lights to Southern Boulevard, which made everybody very happy. Lit up Southern Boulevard.
It makes it a place.
Yeah.
The same thing with the banners. It identifies as like putting a stake in the ground, putting a flag in the ground. This is who we are.
So I grew up in the South Bronx my whole life. One of those places was on Southern Boulevard, right around the corner from my bed. And my family has deep roots in Southern Boulevard, Garrison Avenue, Hunts Point Avenue. So for me to be able to do that and bring that to Southern Boulevard just made me happy.
Well, you just opened up the easiest question I could ask you. So how did growing up in the area, or how does the fact that you grew up in that area affect your understanding of the needs and other issues that you think about addressing in the area?
Well, it's very simple. Like, I think about what we had and what we didn't have growing up. I think about what we needed in the area and what we didn't have. And what I do is I apply that to what I want to see on Southern Boulevard. I do walkthroughs every day. Obviously I'm in the office, work has to get done. We do apply for the grants. Thank you, SBS. They gave what we just approved for the grant.
Small business services.
Yes. But I'm on the ground. I meet with my store owners, my property owners, my building owners. The shoppers know me. My business cards all have my personal number on it. They never get in office. They get me 100% of the time. If they have any issues, they can call me and we can deal with it.
Well, let's tell the truth. While you were sitting here, you had a little walkie-talkie.
Yes.
And what was most interesting is you explaining to me why you have the walkie-talkie. You talked about your street team.
Yes.
Who is the street team and what is that about? And I'm guessing that relates to the public safety issue that we just heard from
Right.
Albert.
So the Southern Boulevard street team is the clean team. It consists of 3 gentlemen, which I brought on 2.
The clean team.
The clean street team, yes. I call them the street team. It's the clean team. These are my guys on the ground who have successfully removed 90% of all graffiti from Southern Boulevard.
Wow.
They're They're working
Again,
from,
folks, 182 businesses.
Yes.
You want to remove graffiti? Get to work.
yes. So it wasn't a small task. They were tasked with painting 4 gates a day, every day, before the businesses opened, until all the graffiti was removed. Every pole on Southern Boulevard is scraped and painted. They're sweeping, they're out there, they're cleaning, they're shoveling. So the radios are special radios that are on a global network, which means I can reach my guys anytime, any place they have a
why
problem.
would you need to do that? I mean, is there illegal dumping comes up?
We
or
have
the-
illegal dumping. We have some overdoses, which I'm happy to say that
we
all of
could
my
talk
guys,
about that.
all
yeah.
of my guys are trained in CPR and Narcan, and they report back to me in case something like that happens: retail theft, illegal dumping, overdoses, police activity, things like that.
You worked at the 3rd Avenue bid, which might even be ground zero for that kind
Correct.
of thing. That gave you an education about, number one, the importance of dealing with it, certainly for local businesses. I'm making this assertion, and then also the need. I mean, we can't let people, fade away right in front of our eyes.
No, unfortunately, we can't. At the height of the summer of 2023, 3rd Avenue team reversed about 120 overdoses
Wow.
in that plaza over one summer.
Thank you.
And they always made a joke, always had a motto: nobody dies in our plaza. And thank God, knock on wood, nobody's
We
passed
keep-
away in our
we,
plaza.
We keep working on it. I want to bring up something you said, and I know you long enough and well enough so that you would agree with this. You talked about the importance of art and doing art. And now we did a couple of segments with people, let's see, at the Kingsbridge Riverdale Van Cortlandt Development Corporation. They just put up a mural. They have a beautiful mural up there that really makes the community look better. What is the importance of art? What are you doing in terms of art? And what is the future for it in a business improvement district? How does that work? It's art and it's business. How does that work? Why does that make sense?
It makes sense because, like you said, you want to make it attractive for people to come and visit, right? So for us, we applied and we just received a $50,000 grant from New York City Small Business Services to do public art installations. So that's kind of our focus for this fiscal year. We're trying to identify locations to do a mural, to be able to
Wow.
work with local artists in the community, and that's something else. We also have graffiti, so we're working with local artists to be able to get the mural. And that's something that's interesting too, is a lot of graffiti, people that engage in tagging things up, they'll respect art, which is what we found. They'll respect local artists. They'll respect if it's in a location with local artists. So
Generally, I know a couple of exceptions, but generally I understand that to be true.
yes, especially if you connect with the community, right? Especially if you make it a community-based approach where the theme of the art is actually coming from with the community from within. So that's what we're working on. We're trying to find the local artists to be able to do this. We're trying to identify themes, but we've identified already Mueller Triangle, which is within our bid. We want to do some asphalt art on the slip road that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're working with some property owners in our bid to figure out which is the best location for a mural that would get the most visibility. So
I want to ask you both this question, so we'll start with you, about vacancies. I mean, that's always troubling, the pandemic, of course, closed a lot of businesses. It's been hard to, get back a lot of the businesses that we lost. Where are you at with vacancy? Is it frustrating? I'm assuming you work with the real estate people to try to bring in people. Where is that at? And then we'll ask you the same question. It's very important. I think it's very important because you want Fordham Road to, and the same thing with Southern Boulevard, to look like a vibrant community. And every time there's a vacancy, it's like.
that's true. I think Fordham is unique in the sense that it's a very in-demand location. So our vacancy rate is actually
Is
below.
it the longest running strip or something, longest running business district in New York City or something of that? I recall hearing that.
Well, we're the biggest bid in the Bronx, but we're
Biggest
about
bid in the
and 20 years, 20 years running. We're not the oldest bid, but we're up there. So we were below the city average. I think the city average is around 13%. So we're below that in terms of
Below
vacancies.
13.
Yes. So
And given the 333 businesses you have, that's a pretty good.
that's a good number. That's a good figure. And our businesses don't stay vacant for long. There's times where a property might appear vacant, but it's actually not. It's sold, but there's
They're starting to work on it.
exactly.
So
exactly.
when you drive by, folks, on Fordham Road or Southern Boulevard, and you see a couple of vacancies, don't freak out. They're working on it.
But I will say is, one thing we're working on is trying to make the vacant storefronts appear nicer, at least in terms of having things on the windows on display,
Right.
Doing some more art, so that they don't appear vacant, right? Or they appear inviting, or that there's some sort of advertisements on there that showcase the neighborhood,
Right.
So that's something that we're working on as
Jay,
well.
for you, does art play, or do you have the space to do it? Has it come up, or it's not been of interest?
We would like to. I think art's very important. I have a lot of artists who are friends and family. We actually don't have the space.
You don't have the space.
We don't
right.
have the space. Diwali Square is under construction, which of course is a Parks Plaza. So we would petition to have some artwork put there, but we don't
It's not
have.
ju- But listen, I don't want to make it sound like a negative. South Bronx Culture Festival is a big thing. You guys collaborated on a Pride event, right? You want
Yes.
to talk about that? Because when they greeted each other, when they came here today, then they said, "Oh, hey man, how are you?" Because you guys work together.
Right.
To me, again, community in the Bronx is so important. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think it was important for me because, both my daughter and my stepdaughter are LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something to highlight the LGBT community, not only in Southern Boulevard, but in the Bronx. So working with Fordham Road and 161st Street, we did the first multi-bid Pride pop-up event, which started on Fordham Road, lasted 2 hours, moved to 161st Street, lasted another 2 hours, and then the finale was on Southern Boulevard. And it was an amazing event. We had a lot of great people, dancers, people showed up. Of course, we had swag, we had bags, we had buttons. We had a lot of sponsors.
I have to say, and I've attended and been part of a number of the LGBT events. They have the best swag of all the events I've ever been to. So you probably did a great job. How important was that event for you folks too? Because you partnered with it with Jay and also 161st Street as well.
It was the first time actually that we put it on Fordham Road, so it was I think it was historical in that sense. We had it in Bryant Park, and it was nice to be able to work with all the bids together. I think that's whenever we can kind of, especially in the Bronx, we want to be able to be on the same page. We have a lot of the same issues, so it makes sense to work together, and to kind of put on for the community where appropriate. So.
Now, let's just talk about transportation. You have an issue with bus lanes. I mean, is that part of the dialogue here? Because traffic backs up, certainly all the way up Fordham Road, especially rush hour. We all know what that's about. And what's the deal with that?
So last year, DOT, Department of Transportation, had proposed creating or transforming Fordham Road into a busway only. So to get rid of vehicle cars on Fordham Road. The bid's position on that was we just felt that some of it was premature. We thought there needed to be more data, more studies in terms of how it would impact side streets, how it would impact residential communities in the area, economic impact studies. So we really just asked for more data to be involved and for enforcement efforts to improve. So there is a bus lane right now on Fordham Road on the curb side. The paint was fading. So we were actually the ones that were really asking for it to be repainted.
If you're going to do it, at least clean it up and make it clear so people don't think, oh, that's like old.
Or at least enforce what's currently in place. That was kind of our position. Enforce what's currently in place. Make the bus paint appear more visible. See if that works. And from the data that we've gotten, it actually has worked. It's improved. The speeds have improved. So we're pretty satisfied with that. Obviously, we are pro. We want bus speeds to be faster too. We don't want people waiting, and we want the bus lanes to be respected. A lot of the times, people will park in the bus lane. Trucks will park there. Street vendors will park there. So we're just asking for kind of enforcement efforts to clear out the bus lane, or the bus lane rather, and let's see how that works first before we do such a drastic change in changing the whole landscape of the neighborhood that's been this way since forever, right?
Even before the 20 years that you guys have been here.
Exactly.
Jay, maybe it's a more fundamental question. Maybe I should have asked in the beginning. How hard is it to get businesses to participate in the bid? Because it's a percentage of their income, right? They're supposed to spend. Talk a little bit about the number of businesses percentage-wise that participate in the bid and help fund the bid, and others who are like, well, I don't really want to spend, and they don't quite get how valuable it is.
We have a few members of the bid right now who are just coming in, so I can't speak to the numbers, and I have to just double check.
Okay.
A lot of the businesses that pay into the bid right now are more property owners.
So the property owners do
Yes,
it. Right.
the property owners do it. What I've done now to increase bid membership was I eliminated the paper trail. And I'm working with a guy who's kind of like a tech genius, and he has digitized all of my bid membership. So when you go to the website, which we're redoing, the new one's coming up, you click become a member of the bid, everything's digital, there's no paperwork to get lost, you fill it out, click send, I get an email, and then right after I get an email, you get a call, and we sit down and we have a conversation.
You know, a lot of I'm always interested in this because obviously we've talked about bids on this program before. If a business, now a property owner says, I'm not interested, I don't want to spend, whatever, they end up getting kind of the benefit of the bid anyway, right? It's unfair, it's unscrupulous, I think. But right, it's kind of a shame, you know, in a way. I don't know how to characterize, but do you have people who do that? You think that they say, I don't want to spend on it, but you know what? They're going to clean my street.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's not it's not something I'm going to comment on.
All right, that's fair.
But
he probably has a lot to say about
you know,
it. That's
but,
right.
You know, I would agree with you that it's not fair that other businesses or property owners pay into the bid and others don't, and they reap the rewards.
Yeah. And what about for you? Is it a hard sell to get property owners, or do they really should understand that this is the only way to make things work well?
Well, we've had property owners outside of the bid that have asked us to expand. You know, they want us to go out.
Because they want to be in the bid.
They want to be in the bid.
That's a
you
good
know?
attitude.
So they're
I like
asking us
that
to
attitude.
they're asking us to go out into West Fordham or even like Grand Concourse, go a little further out in Grand Concourse.
Yes, and actually, if you were to go further south, there's so many wonderful businesses.
There's businesses there, right?
Yeah, right.
So you know, it's good, I guess, in the sense that the property owners are seeing the value of being a part of a bid and that they're asking us to expand. But you know, obviously, we only service the strict guidelines of where the property building line ends.
Right.
So if there is a property owner that's next to a property that's within the bid, you know, for example, our sanitation team won't clean in front of their property. Also, our public safety team will not, you know, they're not doing service over there.
Come on, everybody get on board. We don't want to, I mean, because it complicates it for them, and certainly we want everybody to.
But you know, I
do
will
better.
say that, like, you know, although our services are for our district, you know, within the property owners, there are benefits in terms of being around a bid in the sense that, you know, we created a coalition. It's called Fordham Forward. You know, so if you go to fordhamforward.com,
Right.
you know, you'll see that there's a coalition that we created that includes members outside of the bid. So this is like, it allows us the opportunity to be able to do
communicate with them.
the larger,
Before
exactly.
we run out of time, I want to ask you about Fordham Plaza. There's been a lot of talk about it. It's an enormous space that's still empty. Are there plans for it? Do we build something there? I mean, you run all kinds of events there. We know that. But what's the future of that?
So this is something that we're working with DOT with because we're not the maintenance partner of the Fordham Plaza, but we obviously care about it a lot. You know, it's a big part of Fordham, right?
Of course.
And unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of activation. I mean, there is some, right? The Bronx Night Market, of course. You know, we're glad that they're back. We've worked with them closely. You know, actually, this coalition that I mentioned, Fordham Forward, one of the biggest topics was how do we better activate Fordham Plaza? You know,
how can we use it to all of our advantage?
exactly. And what does the community want to see there? You know, so we actually hosted a event at Jonas Bronx Academy, which is a member of our bid, and we invited different members of the community to figure out, you know, what would you guys like to see in the plaza? So
And
this is something.
is there a result to that yet? Do we know what people want to see there? Or
Well,
we
yeah,
don't know?
yeah, we do. We do.
Name
so,
one.
So people said they want to see a bookshop, for example,
Oh, goodness.
cafe space, you know, more events.
Everybody in the Bronx watching us right now is going, uh-huh.
Yeah, so we're in support of that. You know, we want to do what we can as a bid to be able to support those efforts. And even if, you know, there's 3 booths right now that are vacant, you know, we're actually thinking about maybe if the bid can take one on, so that we can, you know, put out events, put out, you know, different
Right.
things, materials there for the
We're
community.
almost
so.
out of time. Jay, I want to give you a chance to just talk about what's coming up. You got events, you got things coming up. What do we want people to know about the Southern Boulevard bid?
I want everyone to know that Southern Boulevard is making a comeback. And I want everyone to come down, come visit us, come see me, come say hi to the team. We are getting ready. Shop. Definitely shop.
Bring cash, bring your credit card, figure out how to do
We
it.
have a brand new barbecue restaurant called Sugar BBQs,
Really?
which is one of the only sit-down restaurants.
Call my
on
wife and tell her we're going to be down there.
I would tell her. It's an amazing place. I've eaten there with my fiance. Again, it's one of the only sit-down restaurants on Southern Boulevard, which is what we want more of, sit-down places where you can sit down and eat after you shop. We are getting
Or
ready
before.
or before.
Have lunch.
We're getting ready to host our annual coat drive with the councilman's office. That's always a
Councilmember
big thing.
Salamanca, I
Correct.
guess, is the councilmember.
And then we're planning on a mulching the tree beds. We did that last year. Had a big
Great.
event. It was nice.
Yeah, I want to give our friend Albert a chance to answer the same thing. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
just doing all this great. This is how we build the Bronx. This is how we make the Bronx our home. I don't know how much time left, but what do you got coming up?
The Fordham Road Fair is coming up October 12th.
Oh, right. Oh,
so
yes.
that's a big one. You know,
October 12th, yes.
October 12th from 12 o'clock. You know, we close down Fordham Road. We make it a carnival-like atmosphere, boardwalk atmosphere. There's rides for kids, different raffles. City Jeans is sponsoring, Adidas.
I've been there many times.
Yeah, it's very nice.
October 12th is the date?
October 12th. So we close Fordham Road down, you know, from Fordham Road, between Fordham and Grand Concourse down to East Kingsbridge. You know, so it's a great day. People come out. It's something that, you know, we look forward to every year. Also, you know, we want people to come shop. That's the biggest thing, right? We want people to come shop. We found out recently, actually, this past summer, that Fordham Road apparently is the #1 destination in the country of sneaker stores per capita.
Really?
We're the unofficial.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that.
Yeah, we're the unofficial sneaker
That's
capital.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we're the unofficial sneaker capital of the world. So, actually, to celebrate that, we put a large sneaker art installation between Fordham and Grand Concourse.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Well, you know,
So get your sneakers. You know,
Bronx
come
people
get. You know,
love
it's
their
like,
kicks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for everything you do. We need you. We need all 12 bids in the Bronx to thrive, because this is how we build our communities. So Albert Dalipi from the Fordham Road Bid, the Deputy Director, thank you so much. Jay Medina, the Executive Director of the Southern Boulevard Bid, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you around town. You can count on that.
Thanks for having us.
Folks, we thank everybody. We thank our producer, Rebecca Hemick, our director, Nick Marrero. Also, thanks to the cast of thousands who are working with us here in the studio. Next week, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Bronx Talk is turning 30 years of Bronx Talk, and we'll celebrate that with Borough President Vanessa Gibson on our show next week. And so that's it. If the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, we'll be here for that next week. Good night.